At a watering hole, two zebras lower their heads into the same brown water. They drink side by side. Same source. Same moment. One walks away and keeps grazing. Within 2 days, the other is visibly sick. She moves less. She isolates from the herd. Diarrhea. She will not survive the week. Same water. Same species. Different outcome. Why? The usual question is, why don't wild animals get sick from dirty water? They do. Wild animals get infected by parasites, bacteria, viruses, and toxins in water all the time. Some recover. Some carry an infection without obvious symptoms. Some die. In 2017, an anthrax outbreak in Namibia's Bwabwata National Park killed more than 100 hippos in a single week, with the toll eventually passing 200 hippos and buffalo combined before it was contained. Wildlife veterinarians document events like this regularly. What makes the question feel mysterious is that a nature documentary usually shows the animal that drinks, stands up, and leaves the frame. The real story isn't that wild animals have some magic defense against contaminated water. It's that every drink is an encounter between a particular threat and a particular animal. The outcome depends on dose, timing, biology, and luck. A watering hole isn't a poisoned cup. It's a crowded intersection. The risk is real, but it isn't the same for every traveler. First, there is the dose. Dirty isn't a scientific measurement. Water can look muddy because of harmless sediment. Clear water can carry microbes you'd never see. What matters is what's in the water, how concentrated it is, and how much an animal takes in. After rain, a stream may be diluted and moving. During a dry spell, the same pool can shrink as animals gather around it. Waste, microbes, and organic material concentrate. Warm, still conditions can favor certain organisms, and harmful algal blooms can add toxins on top of everything else. This is where our two zebras' paths may have already diverged before either showed a symptom. One may have taken a quick drink from a flowing edge, cooler and less concentrated. The other may have swallowed more from a warm, shallow patch, the same spot where hippos had been defecating. A few meters made the difference. The dose changed. The odds changed with it. Dose doesn't work like a switch either. Below a certain exposure, an animal's defenses may clear a threat before it becomes an illness. Above it, enough organisms get through to start multiplying. The exact threshold depends on the pathogen and the host, and on whether the animal was already dehydrated, hungry, exhausted, or fighting something else. The zebra who got sick may have been in slightly worse shape before she ever reached the water. Not visibly, but enough. Exposure isn't infection, and infection isn't visible disease. An animal can encounter a microbe and stay healthy. It can be infected and show no signs, or it can get sick enough that the infection changes how it eats, moves, or survives. The camera gives all three outcomes the same first scene: an animal drinking. Biology gives them very different endings. Then there's the nature of the threat itself. Not every pathogen has to survive the same journey through the body. Many microbes are destroyed by stomach acid, but some infectious stages are built to survive exactly that, armored against the one place most invaders die. Giardia spreads as a tough cyst. It passes through the stomach unharmed, hatches in the small intestine, and causes severe diarrhea. Cryptosporidium runs the same play with its own protective oocyst, common in calves and wild ungulates. Both are invisible. Both are everywhere. Other dangers skip digestion entirely. Leptospira bacteria persist in water or wet soil contaminated by infected animals' urine and enter through cuts, the eyes, or other moist membranes. The stomach never even gets a vote. And some hazards aren't infections at all. Algal toxins can sicken or kill without multiplying inside the body. A water source isn't one kind of risk, it's a shifting mixture of them, each with its own way in. That's why a tidy list of animal defenses is misleading. A defense only helps against the threat it can actually reach. There's another limit on the threat: host range. A microbe in the water may be well adapted to one species and poorly adapted to another. Some parasites infect nearly anything with fur. Others are picky. Finding an organism in a puddle doesn't tell you which animal gets sick. To cause disease, it has to arrive in enough of a dose, reach the right tissue, and overcome a compatible host's defenses. This is also why wild water isn't simply worse than the water from your tap. The difference isn't toughness. We build treatment systems to strip out a wide range of known hazards. Wild animals can't do that. They live with the risk and with the trade-off of finding any water at all. Still, the body has layers of protection. For an animal that swallows a pathogen, digestive chemistry matters, and so does the gut's resident community of microbes. A healthy gut is already crowded, with countless organisms competing for food and space. That crowding makes it harder for an invader to get a foothold. But a microbiome isn't a shield wall. It shifts with diet, age, stress, illness, and season. A young animal still building its microbial community won't respond like an older one. An animal that's underfed, injured, or already fighting something else has less room for error. The zebra who got sick may simply have had a thinner gut community, vacancies she never knew about. The immune system adds another layer. Previous exposure can help, since immune responses get sharper at recognizing familiar threats. But immunity isn't a permanent pass to drink anything. Pathogens vary, doses vary, and an immune response can prevent severe illness without preventing infection. So the two zebra story was never about one being stronger. It's about different starting conditions stacking up. A lower dose, better condition, more useful immune memory. Or, for the other zebra, several small disadvantages arriving at once. In biology, small disadvantages compound. Wild animals also reduce risk before their immune systems ever get involved. Many species choose where and when they drink, favoring fresher water when it's available, avoiding an obviously fouled patch, or drinking water that's been filtered through soil and sand. Elephants sometimes dig in dry riverbeds for subsurface water rather than drink from the surface at all. None of this makes water safe. It's risk management in a landscape where safe water may not exist, and the trade-off can be brutal. In a drought, waiting for cleaner water can mean going without. Traveling farther costs energy and adds exposure to predators or heat. Drinking from what's available is sometimes the best of several bad options. Natural selection doesn't produce a perfect solution. It produces strategies that work often enough in a world full of compromises. The landscape itself can flip the calculation overnight. Drought brings more animals to fewer sources. Floods wash waste across wide areas. A herd moving into new territory meets parasites it's never encountered. A watering hole that was fine last week can turn dangerous this week. And then there's the thing the camera never shows. What happens after the drink? Sick wild animals isolate. They hide in undergrowth or tall grass. If they die, predators find the carcass within hours, and scavengers finish the job. Within days, there's no evidence that animal ever existed. That's a survivorship bias baked into everything we watch. The footage we see is almost entirely animals calmly drinking and walking away, because those are the ones still around to be filmed. The ones that don't make it simply aren't in the data. It's easy to mistake their absence for rarity. They were never rare. We just don't see them. So next time you watch an animal drink from water you'd never touch, don't picture an indestructible creature with a tougher stomach than yours. Picture one zebra at the edge of a shrinking pool. Alone, out of frame, drinking from the same water. This is reasonable wonder. Big questions. Clear science.